Welcome to Welcome to In Search of Happiness,
a podcast for people.
Brought to you by Geekers Network.
That's how Jordan's going to talk the entire episode.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Filmed in front of a live studio
Yeah,
audience.
we have a live audience today. And we also have our good friend Omar here. How are you doing, Omar?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Sound Guy Bri's over there. It's going to be a very loose show today. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there.
I blame myself.
I blame a lot of things. So many things, but none of them are you, so you're alright.
Thank you, Gus.
Yeah, right? I was being nice. You should say that.
There's a store in the mall called Beard Whisperer.
Beard Whisperer.
Yeah.
Is it about...
It's a shiny-ass business card. Look at that shit.
There's a free plug for him.
Shouts out to Beard Whisperer.
Beard Whisperer.
I have a beard and I have not been there. I cannot vouch for them.
Edit.
What?
Edit?
Like, you're going to edit him out? Is that what that was? Oh, man.
The existence.
Yeah, I know he's going to erase me from this plane of existence. Why is everyone looking at me? Why do I have to carry the tea?
This is the downfall of In Search of Happiness.
So, if you guys are listening to this, I guess you've already found it, but we recently moved over our episodes to Geekers Network, officially on their YouTube channel. So you can actually access all of it from there. If anyone's confused about where the hell the new episodes are, just let them know it's on the actual Geekers YouTube. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. Good thing.
So last episode we decided we were going to try to do a theme in keeping with our level of professionalism. I don't think we have one this time.
No, we do not. That's definitely our style. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, because I don't know how many people out there might be familiar with you or might not.
What is an Omar?
What is an Omar?
Well, that's me. I'm a native Odessan, first generation born of Mexican descent. I'm 27 years of age. I'll be 28 in June. Father of one, soon to be two.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Married for almost 3 years.
Dang.
Yeah. Oh!
Yes.
The soundboard coming through. So clutch.
I can't tell if that was genuine or not. It felt weird.
It felt a little insincere, but it was really well timed. So that's where the sincerity comes from. I think I've known you about 3 years now, because when I met you, you'd
That's right.
very soon. I met you before you were married, but a month or two later you were married.
It happened pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, one of those things.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I thought that's one thing that always stuck out to me. It was really cool, because you tell you really love your wife, and you really
I do
are sincere about it, even though it was, because there's this if I was smarter I would know the word that I'm thinking about.
Run it through Jordan.
What's the word I'm looking for, Jordan?
I would call this beautiful to me, but I think that if I did that, either one of y'all would just start degrading the shit out of me.
I'm really stoked on the fact that you literally took that up as your position to translate for Gus.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dope.
Without missing it, you were I think the word you're looking for is beautiful.
Beautiful? It was beautiful. It is beautiful. And even Jordan's 2 more fucking months and I'm leaving all these asswipes behind me.
You met Shannon at a club, right? Or at a bar?
No, I met her at the store she was working at. She's working at Ross.
That was Jordan's voice changing.
Sound Guy Bri with the interception.
Jordan.
But you also, after that, I'm trying to keep this on.
Who said it's off?
Oh?
No,
Go on. Because
after you met her, you saw her every day after the first day that you met her, correct?
Yes.
Oh wow.
It was already well over a year. I had been with her every day since the day I met her.
Wow.
And then funds and time afforded for her and my son to go out to Virginia Beach because that's where she's from. And I had to stay to make money and all that responsible stuff.
Yeah.
So that broke that seal, I guess. They were out for a week.
And that was just recently, huh?
Yes. Yes. It was.
If I may ask, if it is possible to condense the answer, what is it that made you make such a major decision in such a short amount of time, as far as knowing that knowing that this person interested you that much?
Yeah, I've been this honest and this candid with Shannon before. Everyone that knows me growing up, they would know that I would never get married with someone just because I had gotten them pregnant.
Yeah.
I always took marriage to be very serious.
Yeah.
My folks, they now are they celebrated in March 30 years.
I thought you said celibate. I was like, whoa.
That's my parents, actually. Celibate for at least 20.
But we had found out that Shannon was pregnant, I don't know, obviously within that time frame that happens.
Okay.
And I was really unsure as far as, I knew I was going to be a father to my child because my father was there, so I'm not going to do any different.
Okay.
But my thing was, I didn't know if I wanted to get married with her. I know I wanted her to get, and my son to get covered, obviously insurance and all that good stuff. It's a big deal since, he's not going to be born through midwife. And I found out through the insurance company that you can't insure girlfriends or something like that. You have to be married.
Okay.
So I would say, to be very honest, at first, I didn't know if I loved Shannon like that.
Wow.
I didn't.
Okay.
And I've been honest with her, so I have no qualms in saying it now, but I didn't know if I loved her that way. I knew I cared a lot about her.
Huh.
And what I would say is I ended up being very lucky, which I don't believe in luck, but that I ended up loving her as much as I hoped I would have at the time.
Wow. That's really interesting, especially compared to the last episode, the content of the last episode, and just talking about, I guess from what I recall, like love and the idea of love, and if love is actions or feelings or all that. So that's interesting for you to phrase it in that manner. I think it is.
Yeah. I just, on a responsible level, I knew that they had to get, she has to have regular checkups and things of that nature, make sure that the child is developing adequately. And then, of course, just to do that out of pocket, even for myself, obviously it's smarter to do insurance. But come to find out, it's actually easier to get married, at least here in Texas, than to have common law certificate. Yeah, it's actually easier. The funny thing is, they both have to get a divorce. So the fee, I think, if I remember correctly, the fee is higher to even get a common law certificate
I wonder why.
than to just get married. But you have to have a bank account for a certain amount of time and all this other criteria, and I needed it. I needed to get married like right fucking now.
Dang. Whoa.
Brian was actually the only witness the day we got
I
married.
was gonna say that. Yeah.
The only
Yeah. I wasn't. I didn't. None of my parents, nobody, no relatives were even there. I just wanted to do it. And that was actually a Friday, and he texted me, "Hey, what are you up to?" Or something like that. And I said, "I'm about to get married here in a little bit. You want to witness?" Just, hey, Brian's not doing shit.
I think we went out after that.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think we went to like Bartender Grant's.
Yeah. It was Grant, and then Brian was making fun of my favorite band.
What is your
Deftones.
The Deftones?
I've
I
always
didn't know
loved
you're a
them.
Deftones guy. Interesting.
Deftones.
And a Palms, because he hates Palms and Crosses.
Yeah, I've heard Crosses.
And then Team Sleep is, I guess, in hiatus for a very long time. They're supposed to do something 3 years ago.
Huh. Has it been? No, just kidding. Go ahead.
I don't know. No, I was just gonna say I don't know anything about what you just said.
So this has been a major series of major changes in your life.
Absolutely.
This is a really general question, and approach it however you want to, but before and after, how would you say happiness has this affected you? Do you feel like you're happier now than you were?
Yeah, the thing about... you want to go ahead, Jim?
Well, I guess I want to tie that in. I guess as you answer his question, can you preface that with your personal definition of happiness?
Oh, that'd be a good thing.
How his question ties into that?
Yeah, like I said, approach it however you want, because it's a really giant question. But
And also, on top of all those two things that they just said, will you?
Scared the living shit out of me.
Boom, shakalaka.
I almost spilled my.
No, we don't need to tell Chauncey that.
Everybody just imagine what happened.
You know what? I'm gonna say it was a good save. That was your save.
It could have been a drink falling. It could have been a hand job out of nowhere. Who knows?
Whoa!
You're good at a safe with us, Chauncey.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I was gonna do something stupid, but that was way better.
More stupid.
I guess, and in regards to what has changed for me on an emotional level, and at many levels, is before I got married, and even greater than that, before I had a kid, or my wife had a kid, I didn't feel like life for me had very much purpose. I mean, we're all have an idea where we should be going somewhere, or we should be getting somewhere, or doing, or working towards something. And yeah, I had all those liberties that a single man does, but I'm not saying that I needed to be with someone. But coming home to someone is actually, it's a really good factor to have in your life. But I'd say the biggest thing behind it all is my son. And I mean, obviously I haven't met my daughter yet, but all I can say right now is my son. I've ever since I was a kid, I've had a particular attitude, and I mean, it's crazy, but the way I view the world now is not very different than the way I viewed it as a kid, in regards to a lot of important things. Obviously, toys and things, you put those things to the side. Obviously, I'm not able to do a whole lot, but I feel when I talk to my son and when I look at him, he reminds me of a long time ago, every time. And I feel like I had to wait all this time and make the very friend that I kind of wanted whenever I was his age. Like, I had to wait all this time for him to get here, for me to have such a playmate, if you will, a friend, if you will.
Is it reminiscent based off of, like, you see him reacting the way that that you reacted? Like, or do you see
yes and
your traits in
no?
him?
The thing about Eli, my son, he's a very, very unique individual, and I mean, every parent is going to say that. No parent's going to say my son is as dull as all get out. But
what a boring kid! Why don't you do anything cool?
Where did you go wrong?
You're doing your goddamn taxes.
He's only 15 years old. But I believe I had a fabulous childhood. I had a really, really good time, and I regret nothing in regards to, so I know a lot of people, and I've spoken to them. I actually had a conversation like this recently with a coworker of mine who happens to be a friend, and I asked him, because he's from Bay Area, San Francisco, North Hayward, and I asked him, over there it's typically a lot of criminal element and things of that nature, and I asked him how different does he think his life would have been. And I know I'm really bunny trailing about all this, but...
You're bunny trailing? That's a fun phrase. Sorry. The word bunny makes me laugh.
And I know
Thank you.
A lot of people would have liked for their, I imagine some people wanted their parents to have more money or maybe more attention towards them or anything like that, but all things considered, getting to get that whole third world country experience, because I remember going to Mexico all the time as a kid, and have used an outhouse and all that good stuff, running water and heating it up in a wood stove to bathe. And they all seem to have that same big orange cup in Mexico. Almost.
Yeah.
But what I guess
all the Mexicans in here were like,
Yep.
oh yeah, no, fuck yeah.
Orange cup. What I guess that magic, I guess, that kids have. Every time I look at my son, I know that he has it. And that reminds me of being a kid. I used to make time capsules and all this craziness and all. I don't know why. I made a time capsule. I buried it in the backyard.
I did too.
But
that's cool. That's cool. That's so cool. I've never heard anyone say that.
As far as what happiness is to me,
as far as what happiness is to you.
As far as what happiness is to me, it's I've been asked that question before, and I don't truly have a really good answer. I know when we like to think that the things that we own and people that we know and all that stuff, that's what happiness is. But I would say, I guess it's pretty generic or cliche as it is, my family and their well-being is happiness to me. Spiritual fulfillment is a big portion of my life, and despite the fact that I view faith, religion, kind of like to me, I view it in some way of a decline these days. It's still a major portion of my life, day to day.
Kind of a follow-up. What do you think about the nature of family? Do you consider like family to be necessary in life? Like
necessary to what?
To have a fulfilling life, do you think you have to have a family?
No, I don't. I don't believe so. It's really like it's actually a plus. That's what, going back to what I said with my wife is, she has a lot of really great qualities, but I didn't know, obviously no one can tell the future, but I didn't know if I was going to love her like that, and it ended up being a plus. And then of course my son being born healthy, I can't be mad at that. So
okay, so
I don't say having to have a family is happiness, or that's what you need to be happy, but it sure can make someone happy. I wouldn't see any person with all their faculties and everything about them that would not really give a shit.
So so you think people that don't have really any family at all can like still lead perfectly like happy?
Absolutely, I would agree.
Okay, cool. Another thing you were saying is that like you when you see your son, you kind of like see that kind of like magic to him, and he makes you kind of go back in your head and like think about what it was like to be younger. This is something I've thought about a lot growing up because I was an angsty little bastard of a kid. But I used to get really, really mad at my parents because I always thought that they were trying to get me to do all these things that they couldn't do, and that they were trying to live through me or something. Do you see yourself kind of living through I know it's really early, but
no, and I want to be the furthest thing from. To me, I want my son to. Everyone says to be his own man or choose his own life or something like that. But I notice parents, even myself, who I want to be real, not I guess cool, but very understanding. I've come to the conclusion that you're going to screw your kids up in some way, form, or fashion.
hell yeah.
There is no escaping that. But one thing that I always had a big problem with growing up was the religious aspect to what was really embedded in my day-to-day living within my family. I don't believe in indoctrinating, and my son doesn't have to believe in what I believe for me to feel as if he's going somewhere. If he has no concept of what I consider an afterlife, then I can't really try to bind him to that, well, you're gonna, be destined to come back as a frog or some lesser being.
Frogs are lesser beings?
Yeah, they are.
That puts me in a bind.
I know a lot of frogs.
Is that what you were hoping to come back as? Like, oh fuck, man, frog. That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Frog, bullfrog.
He just dies like, come on, frog.
I was gonna like, what kind of frog?
Yeah.
Huh?
Like a horned frog? Like
Any
horned toads are
specific
dope.
frog?
If I were, I'm not saying I would be a frog, but if I were going to be a frog, I would want to be those that can eat anything, live or dead. They can eat whatever they want, and they secrete
Poison?
Yeah.
Those poison arrows?
Yeah, poison
Oh,
frogs.
what are those frogs that you lick and you get high as nuts? Is that the same one?
It's like all the same.
I think those because of the toxins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be that frog too.
Wait, if you look up
that was like a way less smart
Yeah,
answer.
you'll get high.
But like, if you
Wait,
are
wait,
that
wait.
frog, will you still get high, or are you like immune to your?
Are you trying to be high on yourself?
I'm
Or do you
doing-
like just want to be in other people's like
I have.
mouths?
I
just wanna get licked up.
I just want to get licked up. I didn't get licked up enough in this lifetime, so in the next one, I want to make sure that everyone's trying to lick me up.
And another thing, I guess, to add.
Yes, please continue.
Another thing I'd like to add is having a child for me put a lot of things into perspective. Even the ways that I viewed other people. Whenever I was younger, I was, of course, because that's the environment I grew up in, I didn't care much for, and I was like, ugh. homosexuals, they're going to hell.
Really?
And that's a major thing that really changed in my mind almost immediately. Was someone's sexual orientation? It's about as important as I don't know, shredded paper or frogs. And my son made me realize that, not in the chance that he may be gay or straight. It's really my son. If my son is, and he goes to school, and it becomes a problem, it shouldn't be because he's just as human as everyone else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That someone's religion, the way they like to dress. I came to the conclusion if somebody wants to alter their body to make themselves appear as an animal, that's more power to them. Because if that's what makes you happy, then go for it. As long as it's within, I would imagine, legal means of the law or the confines of the law.
Like if I wanted to get a chainsaw on my arm, would you support that?
Like the image of one, or
No.
No,
an
like
actual
get
one.
like this part of my arm cut off and just be like a chainsaw.
Like Evil Dead. Like,
Good luck flying.
I'd be down on that.
I already have shitty luck flying. I get pulled out over a lot, so it's okay.
You're gonna kill it at like conventions.
But then like I'd probably,
You'd have to say groovy a lot.
and then like if on the off chance I do hook up with the chick, I probably have to put like the chainsaw way further back from her.
Oh, is it
Because
like
if I get
detachable?
overly
So
excited,
you can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'd have to play the tie-up game, you get all tied up and shit.
I don't know what the time.
I would actually try to find a girl that would let you incorporate it into the fucking.
Fuck! I'm so stupid. No, chainsaw is detachable. I can put a dildo on that bitch. Same motor.
Yeah, exactly.
Bam! I'm fucking. I am fucking at that point.
But just make sure you get those dildos that have a camera in them, so you can take a vag selfie.
From like him peeking out from the outside.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw it on Facebook the other day. Someone invented a type of dildo or whatever, a fucking device, an orgasm device for women that allows them to take
Or men,
selfies
I
of
guess.
their
I don't know.
vaginas. Yeah, or men. Yeah, they have
Men's vaginas?
They have orifices
Yeah.
as well.
Man, that's a checked.
So like cervix pics?
Well, I mean, you can go. I imagine it would work up in there. But I think it's just to take a picture of the front.
I think it's like a selfie stick that someone put a dildo on and like you be like, yeah. I don't know.
Do you have to patent that? You do, don't you? Like, there's a patent somewhere that says
It's an invention, so yeah.
like the vag
Yeah.
selfie fire, the vag selfie stick.
I'm curious, like, is this like necessity bred invention, or is this just like an invention?
Why would
it's
this be
like
necessity at all?
It's like it's 90% of everything that humans do. I was going to say Americans, but that humans do is just we get bored and we try to overcomplicate something.
It is very American though. It like
We'll go ahead and say it is necessary. It is.
No, I was going more of like people.
It's as
like,
necessary as the selfie stick was to begin with.
like someone thought that they would be into that. Like enough people thought that they would be into
Literally
that.
into
So
it.
someone
Yeah, well,
kickstarted it or something.
Well, I mean, someone thought of it, and I'm pretty sure they weren't the first.
What if no one thought of it?
Yeah, what if it just came into existence on its own? Does that make it God?
But did we invent the dildo selfie stick, or did selfie stick dildo invent us?
Maybe we were both called into existence at the same time.
Maybe.
Did God create happiness, or did lack of happiness create God?
Lack of happiness or like of happiness?
Like of
Lack.
and things,
Rack.
but mostly.
Tack.
Anyway. Cut this bullshit out, I guess.
Okay, you were talking about earlier. Religion is something that your faith religion. What?
Is this a 4-man team now?
Oh fuck! My bad. Go for it.
Damn.
Sorry, I don't mean to sound like an asshole. I'm just confused.
No, I don't know. I've known Omar for a long time.
Omar, yeah. You have
Okay.
no Omar.
But
That's true. You were the witness at that.
About the same time.
And it was just trying to go back to something he had mentioned earlier about something that makes him happy. It's his faith, his religion, and
Yeah.
I know his religion, what he believes in, is very different than what is normally believed in
Yeah.
most places.
I would say it's from the way that Omar has explained it to me. I consider it to be a lot more sacred as opposed to different. I guess that was the word I would use. If that differentiation makes a difference.
Very different. As far as what's funny is I actually I should have said something like I don't want to go too much into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to either.
But
Yeah.
but at least wait till I got like some millions of followers before we do that. It's very, very old, and it's been around for a very long time, especially in comparison to, I guess, what you could say the mainstream or the very well-known faiths. But age, this is what I try to tell people, age doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be accepted. And that's funny because it predates a lot of various faiths, but it's definitely something subject matter you don't want to talk about with most people.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention this. One of my favorite things is burping when I'm supposed to talk and not being a piece of shit. But one of my favorite things is when Omar texts me, because it's always something really cool. We always have like a really cool conversation, even if it's about something stupid like the fucking chainsaw dildo thing that I was talking about earlier. We've had similar conversations. We've also had conversations about faith. And one thing that you, when you and me were talking about your faith one day, you mentioned that it's you feel like you have more control in the outcome.
Yes.
Like you feel like you're more a part of
Something.
And when you said that, I thought about it. It really resonated with me because I was like, that's fucking true, man. Because like, not for nothing, like in America, the main religion is like Christianity. That's what I would identify it as anyway. But it makes sense because it's kind of a very lazy religion.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's just like you go to this place once an hour, once a week. You say these things, and this guy's gonna do something for you, or he won't.
Yeah.
And you're just like, if it happens for you, you thank him, and if not, well then he didn't want that for you. He's got something else for you. And that's like a really lazy, fucking weird thing to like believe in. But everyone just kind of goes into it. But like, not getting into like, but what you believe in, I respect on a higher plane because of. You go in there and you feel like you said. You feel like you're part of. Yeah, you get your hands in there and you get dirty and you acknowledge that there's a higher power and that they had some hand in what good or bad happened to you, but also you acknowledge that there's good and like you had a part in it, and that like absolutely. You like it's always weird to me, like when. Like doctors or something, they save a kid, and like the kid was like in a terrible car accident, and the people were like, "Well, we just thank God." I was like, "Fuck that! Thank the doctor." That doctor was way more. He did way more shit.
And it's funny that even in my experience with Christianity, because I was raised Christian, especially in the Mexican community, everything cast aside, religion or not, Mexicans tend to be, especially older ones, tend to be very. Ignorant towards, I guess, science and medicine.
Yeah.
And you couple that with religion, and it's even worse. But, you can research a lot of heroes of the Bible, and St. Luke was a physician, and that's why I find it very odd that sometimes people are real big against, the doctors, they don't know anything. I'm going to go with the great physician. But I'm like,
That's awesome.
And people ask me about miracles and why miracles don't happen today like they did back then. And there could be 1,000,001 answers for that, but
can I tell you my one? I think that our civilization, you know how like sometimes you play Sims, and you're way about Sims for like a month, and then you fucking forget everything about it, and you never go back to it. I think that's what happened. I think God created us on like Sims and like
did the cheat code.
He did the cheat code, got everything else, and like he would like talk to us and shit, and then he'd come back, and then he'd be like. This is fucking lame. I'm gonna go just start another one or something, and like that's it. Like he gets drunk every now and then and comes in and like throws a tornado at us.
Oddly, there's a religion really close to that.
I always go back to Sims.
Shout out to Sims.
Hell yeah!
Put Brian in Sims, people.
I always put myself in Sims.
Well, I'm telling the people to do that as well.
Like in their own version, like you're gonna be at everyone's Sims game from here on out. But no, the religion I was talking about, it's deism or deism. I'm not sure really how to pronounce it.
You told me that was what you believed in when I first met you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's the only reason I remember that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, this is... I don't remember that.
It's either you told me that or Andy told me that about you.
Oh shit.
Jokingly?
I don't remember, but anyway, continue with the deism.
Deism, to oversimplify it a lot, is basically the belief in God as a cosmic clockmaker, is the big phrase they say all the time. In the sense that he put the whole universe fucking together and then let that shit run. And went off and did whatever the fuck God does after he makes the universe.
Probably sleep.
Yeah.
Vacation.
Nap.
Yeah.
Good nap. Good nap, and then go, see Europe or something.
Camp David.
There
Teach
was-
his son how to play catch.
Like catching the violence.
He was kind of a he was kind of a shitty father in some religions.
A lot of historians will say that our founding fathers were deists, and that, that explains kind of very neatly, why there's references to God in the Declaration of Independence and things like that. But at the same time, they have these super pragmatic, man has to do it for himself kind of views in government and things like that. It's I don't know. It's a really neat way of tying it all together, but I don't know.
DS nuts. No. I was going to ask you, Omar.
Where's the soundboard?
Oh, no. Okay, I guess as far as potentially tying this back to your view of happiness, you said that you did grow up Christian and that what you believe now is not Christian, correct? Mm-hmm. We can condense it to
yes,
that?
Yes, you're
okay.
Right.
So you said that your beliefs, they are much more ancient than what Christianity dates back to?
Yeah, from what we know about history.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I wasn't there at its inception.
Yes.
But,
Really good movie, though.
It was.
Well, okay, you like Superman, but you hate Inception.
Fuck yeah, I love
It's like Ninja Turtles, but you don't like Inception? Sorry.
Hey, crowd can't talk.
Fuck you.
Only some.
You're out of here!
On the real though, I need to know Omar's last name because I'm doing something on the website.
Enos. HINOJOS.
HIN.
Social? I'm just kidding.
4.
He's very social. He's a good public speaker.
Okay, it being potentially older than Christianity, does that did that bring up any possibility of changing the view on how old you thought, I guess, the Earth was, or just existence itself? And if it did,
the funny thing is, there's a lot of things that are they're not involved in the faith very much because it's not a terribly important thing as far as how old the Earth is or who created God or anything to that effect. It's about the here and now and making things. The faith, I'm always told by the older ones that it was made to save people, not to hurt. But as far as criteria like that, I mean, growing up as I got older, I knew to also acknowledge you have to. It doesn't matter who or what it is that you believe in, but you have to acknowledge science. And we know that just going off of the age of particular trees and things of that nature, it's impossible to try to convince someone that the Earth is younger than what we currently believe or can prove it is.
right?
So, in regards to, I guess, to put something in on my own, not being a Christian or not wanting to be a Christian anymore, it was never anything like someone close to me died or I got sick or I wondered if God's real, how come children are born with AIDS or malaria or something.
Bad experiences.
No beeholes.
Yeah.
Tails.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can be born without an AIDS. It's like a really big
Absolutely.
thing.
What do they do?
They usually die, from what I hear.
There's a child born without a nose. I
saw that.
I thought that was really interesting because they could still breathe.
Oh yeah, the mouth though.
I know that, but
Who wants to be a mouth breather the whole life? Nobody.
as you were saying.
But it was it was never those things that became a struggle or an obstacle for me to believe in the faith of my family. It was my first attempt at I guess trying to learn about faiths. I wanted to learn about my own, and getting deeply into the Bible even at such a young age, there was things that it didn't make sense to me, and it wasn't one of those things where I pray and hopefully it comes to me in a dream or someone tells me. It's just one of those really simple facts, and in some cases interjecting just a slight amount of logic, and it hurts. It did. I remember at that time, I'm thinking like, I believe in this, and my parents, who I believe are very intelligent, because I learn a lot, almost everything I know from them. We really believe in this. This is a thing. We really
It didn't feel right to you.
Yeah, and really, it wasn't. I would say dogma that bothered me, like rules or doctrine or things that I have to live by. Some of it was so simple as Adam and Eve. That's actually the story of creation was one of my biggest obstacles, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, where they whenever they talk about Adam and Eve being in the Garden of Eden and they were innocent and they were going to be immortal and all that stuff, but they didn't know good and evil. To me, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, that's ignorance. That's not intelligence. They're just ignorant. They're like babies. I hate to say it. And I feel as if God, or capital G God of the Christians, does exist. I don't view him within those confines, within those parameters of Christianity. The God of the Christians is not a just God. And I hopefully I don't offend anybody, but that's how I felt growing up. Is
okay.
God created Adam and Eve, then a very finite amount of people come from them. One dies, then one is banished and moves away and settles in the land of Nod. And he knew his wife and she conceived, which they never explained where she came from.
Oh, yeah.
She just suddenly was there. But the qualms that I had a whole lot was, for number one, the concept of original sin is so unjust. It's so the furthest thing from fair. It's not even funny. And number two, we know we don't need religion to give us good standards, and we know we don't need religion for us to be good people. It's just something, I guess you could say, could galvanize that. But the problem that I had was the original human beings, in a sense, not in a sense, they were literally forced into sin by a just God. And that was the biggest problem that I had.
As a child.
And that problem was that sin was incest. Because you have to understand there was only two people. Then a certain amount come from them. But they didn't say God made separate pairs of people.
Yeah.
They all come from the same source. They all come from the same two people. So a just God is limiting options. To me, I feel it was forced. They were forced into sin by a just God. So that's something that as I got older, I'm like, I don't like that at all, and I couldn't get past it, no matter how hard I tried.
Like, that's logic that I always, that always crossed my mind, the times that I did, attempt to make my way through the Bible. But I never even, looked at it in that manner, because that is what it is. It's just, to look at it that way is really interesting. To me, it is. Yes.
I got confused by that. Forced into sin, like originals. Like, it's been a long time since I've read.
Oh,
the
as
Bible.
far as the difference, original sin, what the Bible will say, and of course various other Abrahamic faiths, with the exception of Islam. Islam does not believe in original sin, but in Christianity, original sin comes from whenever Adam and Eve fell, whenever they ate of the fruit of knowledge of the tree of good and evil.
Yeah.
They were no longer perfect in that sense because they knew both, and I find that such a mindfuck, for lack of a better word, because God understands the difference between good and evil, and the moment these two individuals learned the difference, it was wrong. So that sort of quality that human beings have, I guess it doesn't extend, that God's not bound by those laws. So that was another problem that I had was I didn't know these people. I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I being judged on the actions of two individuals I'll never even meet?
Oh, that's what you meant.
That's what original sin is it's this it's what kills you. What Christianity is, what makes you age.
Yeah, I got that. It's just when you started to say the incest thing,
Yeah,
I got
sorry.
confused.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were saying incest was the original sin. I was like, no, it's because they ate the fruit.
Yes.
Okay. But you're saying, like, it's not fair because they...
It's definitely not just, I cannot, the way I look at it is, from what a lot of people like to say, and they even say it in prayers, like Our Father and things of that nature. I'm a father, and my son he does something bad. I will not continue to punish him for something that he's already sorry for.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It wouldn't be fair on my part.
To continuously,
and
especially
it sure as
successive
hell would not be
generations.
fair to find fault somehow with my other child, my daughter, for something my son did. That's also not fair. Islam, what's funny is out of the Abrahamic faith, Islam does not believe in original sin. That's unjust. and you are accountable for your own actions.
Oh, that's a very interesting difference. Well, I was gonna say, like, is it unfair because they didn't? It's kind of like a catch-22 circular logic thing. Like, it's unfair that they didn't know the difference between good and evil until they ate something that gave them that knowledge. So the only reason they did it in the first place was because they didn't have what they were gonna get.
Well, according to the Bible, they were not coerced, but they were tricked, sort of, or Eve was tricked into consuming the fruit, and that's what gave her the knowledge of good and evil. Then, of course, the story proceeds on that Adam partakes of the fruit, and they both fall.
Well, that's a weird thing. I never thought about that till just now. As soon as she eats it, she knows good and evil. So
But
why
she
does she
didn't
get?
tell him.
Why does she get Adam to do it?
She would
So
know it would be wrong.
yeah, so she knows it's wrong. So it's just like, well, I'm going down. You got to fucking come with me.
Pretty much. Because at that point, I would imagine she had the same qualities that you and I would, or most humans. I do something wrong, I kind of want somebody to go down with me.
Oh.
So therein, I would imagine at that, it would
Ooh,
probably
that's a weird level.
be possible to ponder even that.
I want to say this because we're talking about this and it just popped in my head again. One night, I was out drinking and I heard this dude. He was talking about wage inequality, how women don't make as much as men, and his it wasn't a salute. His reasoning, I guess, he's like, shouldn't ate the apple then, bitch.
Oh,
that was his thing. I don't know why these two fucking. They were like these two dumb pieces of shit talking about wage inequality for some reason.
That's pretty sound.
And that was one dude's answer. He was like, "You want to get paid the same as men? You shouldn't ate the apple, you dumb bitch."
That's
And I was like,
That's
"What is
amazing.
your-"
Wow.
I was like away from them, and I just was like, I wish I was further away from them.
Oh my, that rules.
It was
Yeah,
just the most wild, and almost. I don't know. It was the most mind-boggling thing I've heard in a while.
It could make sense.
Depends how religious you are.
Are we still gonna keep talking about religion, or?
If you have another question.
I mean, like, since we didn't really have a theme, I just have a bunch of random ass things.
I wanted to talk to. I wanted to ask this. Do you feel that happiness is necessary in life?
As far as being conducive to your plans, I don't think having a sedentary lifestyle and being very stagnant will get you very far. So happiness, or the pursuit of it, can give people purpose in whatever regard, or however they would consider happiness to be possible for them. But yes, I would imagine that the exact opposite wouldn't really produce anything worthwhile.
The exact opposite of happiness.
Happiness, yeah, because he asked me, do I feel like happiness is necessary?
Oh, so you mean like extreme depression wouldn't get anyone to do anything?
And I don't know if it would be anything remotely as good as being happy.
I think that's interesting.
I mean, at that point, it would just be opinion.
Yeah, I guess for me, that's an interesting way to look at it. I guess
That's so weird. I think I feel like ideas kind of bled over into each other on that one. Gus was asking, is happiness necessary? That means like you have it. Are we talking about like? And then you answered with like the search for happiness. So in that sense, it's like having it actually isn't the necessary part. It's the part that we want it. And really, I mean, if you think about it, this is something that one of my teachers said to me once in a literature class. It was something like happy people don't ever really make anything. It's the sad people that have the motivation to try to do something, especially with like poetry or
Kind of like
or
sadness
art.
creates art.
Yeah, that's the driving force. You have this overcoming like pain or something, and you want to do something with it. You want to get rid of it. And I think that's pretty much what her idea of art was, and I really liked it at the time because I was still an angsty piece of shit, and I was just like, yeah, that's cool.
that's an interesting way to look at that. May redefine what I've thought to be happiness, just in the sense that I think what you're talking about, you both, Omar and Daniel, referring to stagnation. I think that's more being content, and I guess being content doesn't birth inspiration. And I think, from struggle, that's what inspires you to overcome. I think that, if you're always happy, then you don't understand happiness. So if you're always happy, then in a sense you're always just content. So to break from that, you need to have some source of negativity. Like negativity essentially shows you happiness.
Yeah, I think people.
Well, the saying, the sweet's never sweet without the sour.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. People make that thing, the whole comparison. You have to have the shitty part to understand the good.
But I would say this: I don't need for a conflict to arise within my marriage for me to feel like I have a real one.
But what's that based off? Like that's based off of previous experiences, isn't it?
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
But from this point forward, I wouldn't need that to continue anymore for me to know that I'm having a good time.
A good time.
You wouldn't need that, but if you made it through whatever rockiness was there, do you think it still could benefit it, and you would appreciate the marriage even more?
Yeah, they're in the whole thing about a hero's trial, something to make you a better person. But I don't think how where you gotta. If it's not, you're not arguing, you're not having a good relationship. I don't necessarily agree with that. I know psychologists will say that arguing is a good building block to a good relationship or marriage, and I don't agree. I don't think I have to argue with my wife for me to love her anymore. As we progress on in this life, it's what I feel like I can do for my family. That is my, I don't want to say, not suck factor, but it's my thing that... But yeah, I mean, I understand, and I do believe, you're not gonna know a bright day without the night, and all that artistic sounding funny shit.
Bullshit.
Artsy fartsy bullshit.
But I don't believe that it needs to be a recurring theme for me to understand that what happiness is.
May I ask, if this isn't a comfortable question, don't feel obligated to respond, but do you feel that you've endured extreme pain in your life? If so, you don't have to go into detail, but if you feel that you do you feel that that's what has brought these realizations upon you? As far as like knowing that you don't need to suffer anymore or experience anymore in order to effectively appreciate your current situation?
Yeah, I have no problem answering that question. To be quite honest, no. I have yet to have lose somebody really close to me. Mm-hmm. I have not lost any close family members. Nothing terribly tragic has happened in my life. There are certain things like I remember ever so often is, I've experienced prejudice and I've experienced racism even in modern times. It's funny, and that's going to happen no matter what. But it's, I guess, to kind of go towards your argument, yes. If I had known what the product of racism or prejudice would be, then I wouldn't feel so accepting of other cultures and things of that nature, because nobody chooses the race they're born. Nobody chooses where they're from. I'm trying to go back to what you were saying. I kind of lost my train of thought there.
What do you not recall?
Pretty much your question.
Do you feel that do you feel that you've endured extreme pain in your life?
No, that's right. No, I don't believe I have. And when people ask me, "Oh, why are you?" It's funny that you're into that or that you think that way, and what kind of brought you upon that? And most of the time I don't have an answer for them. I don't know. I don't know. And what's funny is what always pops in my head as far as the personality that I have. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie called Short Circuit.
No.
When Johnny Five he gets a hold of that TV feed or whatever at that cable, and he's getting electrocuted, and he's getting fed like in his brain, his mechanical brain, all these shows and things of that nature, and that's his personality. Before that, he was a robot. I feel like at some point I wasn't electrocuted or anything, but that happened.
Okay.
Because I was raised in an extremely traditional Mexican home, and I share a lot of things, like the love for the culture. But if a lot of people meet me, they have no earthly idea that whenever I was younger, English is actually my second language. Okay. I couldn't speak English when I was a kid.
Oh well. All right.
I love that movie.
Short Circuit.
Still
Huh?
Nothing.
Short Circuit.
They pretty much remade that recently. Like it's in theaters right now, called Chappie. It's like the same idea.
Wait, Born in East LA or Short Circuit?
What? No, short
Antoine
circuit.
Fisher.
Antoine Fisher starring Jack Black.
Short circuit. The Chappie, I don't know. I haven't seen it. So
I haven't seen Chappie, but it looked like the same idea. Like robot
with feelings.
develops human feelings.
Yeah.
Chapoli.
Probably quotes a movie or something. Anyway, so you haven't, in your own opinion, you haven't experienced anything like really terrible.
Nope.
We asked this before, didn't we? I think on the first episode we kind of talked about this,
What's that?
like whether or not like really traumatic things like make you experience and know what real happiness is, or if you benefit from it.
Going to what you were saying before I forget, when you were saying about having bad things or stumbling blocks or road bumps in your life, speed bumps in your life for you to understand what happiness is. Another thing that I don't know, I could be wrong, but I've never died, but I know I like to be alive. I don't need death to know that I like to be alive. So at the same time, I know y'all both said that sometimes you need to be a little sad for you to understand happiness is. I have never experienced death, but I know I don't want to be dead. I like to be alive. So that's another way to look at it.
That's true.
If you will.
Okay. I would kind of say that that's the fear of the unknown that drives you to feel a certain way, though. You know, of course, you don't know what it is to be dead, but the nature of existence as an intelligent being that can think about itself is that we fear what we don't know. And death is probably the biggest unknown because there is no way for us to know, or at least there's no way we conceived of knowing. And I don't know. I don't really know where I stand on like as far as do we need trauma to understand what things are? I think in the first episode, I kind of tended to lean towards saying that I had finally. I said the phrase like I finally experienced some real shit in my life, and like that had changed me. And it's true, it really has changed me. But I don't know if I benefited from it like at all. And maybe that's me not dealing with things in a healthy manner, because I'm very prone to not ever do anything that's helpful for myself. I don't know. It's going up on about a year now since I lost someone really close to me, and I'm still. I think I stopped thinking about it for like maybe a few months. But the closer I get to like this day, I guess, which is apparently something I like obsess over a little bit, but like I'm thinking about it more, and I'm wondering like what have I done differently in this year? Like what's gone on for me? Like what have I changed? Have I improved? Have I gotten worse?
Defining progress.
Yeah, am I making progress? I don't even know why I think I need to make progress.
I can relate to that though. I don't want to cut you off.
No, go for it. I don't even.
I can relate to that because like in June it'll be 2 years since I've lost my mother, and I have the same stuff where you almost feel bad for not feeling this sad.
Yeah, like you
like
feel
progression in just everyday life feels like shitty.
Somehow
at certain points.
irreverent or something.
If I knew what that word meant, I'd probably. I could probably
shake his head to that.
Like I could probably be like, yes, it does feel
like
sounds like irrelevant. Must be irrelevant.
No, it's like spitting in church, irreverent. Like you're not respecting it enough.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. It's a weird feeling, but also it's a weird like it's a weird battle in your head because for the most part, that person that you lost would want you to move on and be happy, but it feels disrespectful.
Yeah.
Or the word that he said earlier, irreverent?
Yeah.
Atalanta.
The dear Reverend Atalanta.
Yes.
The dear Reverend
That was the
Averara.
first right. Yes.
But yeah, it does feel like that, and it's really weird, and it's a really weird thing to reflect on. And going forward with stuff, it's just like, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't know why I brought this up.
Like for both of y'all don't feel. I guess the process has been initial sadness brought on by the event itself, and now it's sadness realizing that you might have the capacity, to feel less sad from it, which in turn just makes you just as sad.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of the.
And is that like completely self-imposed, or is that?
I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. This is like literally. That's why I asked. I don't know
Yeah.
if I should even. I don't know why I want to change. Like why I feel like I need to change.
That's what I was going to ask you. You said you'd noticed that almost a year's gone by and nothing's very different.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it has to be?
I don't know. It just always feels like you see people experience something traumatic and then they change, right? Like,
It's almost like cliched and
yeah.
to change.
It's
because
almost like
so,
it's like a literary plot. You look at somebody, they go through some kind of conflict and they
Yeah.
change, or they don't, and then people talk about that book for years and try to decide if it was good or not. Like,
Great Gatsby.
I was
Shades of Grey.
actually thinking about Huck Finn.
I never read that one.
Because that's a notorious story for being called a Bildungsroman, like a coming of age story.
A Bildungsroman?
Bildungsroman, yes, that's a word.
Oh, Bill Desmond. Me and Brian were talking about today.
Pussy Willow.
You know, fucking Bill Desmond.
We were just outside, Joel Dover.
Willie, yeah.
That's not one right across the street.
Okay, wait, no, before, can you spell that real quick for me? Because I need to put that in my phone.
Oh God, why? I don't know how to spell things, Joel.
I'm going to get Bell ready if you're wrong.
See, that's why I don't spell things out
That's
loud
why.
correctly. I had a traumatic experience in elementary where I lost a spelling bee and I felt like an idiot for like
I lost
3
the
months.
spelling bee. What do you know? I ended up being right.
Damn.
What?
The word was fudge.
And you were like,
And that fucking cocksucker rang that bell. And I'm like, I'm almost 100% sure this is how you spell fudge.
you know, weirdly, I think I had like the same exact experience, but with hedgehog. It's that DG shit, and like they expect you to fuck up, so they call you on it like prematurely.
He's gotta be wrong.
He's in elementary, he doesn't fucking know how to spell that word.
Daniel the Hedgehog? Was that the...
Huh?
What?
Daniel the Hedgehog.
Also, I encourage everyone, look up your name followed by the phrase "the hedgehog" in Google. You'll find the best pictures on the internet.
Oh shit.
There's like a complete, like...
Like Jordan the
story?
Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Like people create characters, but they like animalize them and anthropomorphic hedgehogs. It's like Sonic, but if he was like high school and emo. Anyway, so this was like you expect people to change. You expect when conflict comes, you expect people to respond to that conflict, and we expect a change. It's like driven into my head now, especially probably being an English major. Like I do nothing but examine. Or when I was in school, all I did was examine the way that characters respond to things. And for me, I guess, I don't know, I just expected myself to change. And I really, I mean, I've done a lot of different stuff. Like, we've been doing the open mic night thing, and that's not something I ever really thought I was gonna do again. I kind of given up on writing, and writing has become a bigger part of my life again. And that is not something I ever thought, but I don't feel like I'm gaining anything from it. I feel like I'm actually worse than I was, and I'm just kind of doing it maybe to go through the motions. I don't know. Like I said, like I don't know why I feel like I'm supposed to do something better, but I'm really not trying all that hard to do something better. I think I just want to feel bad. I think that's what it is.
Can you explain, like, you said why you're feeling this way? Like, is the feeling like the writings that you do perform?
Yeah.
The inspiration that made you feel enough to create those, how does that compare to the feeling of you delivering those now, even though you felt that you never would again? Because you're talking about these feelings. Is it
One more time.
I guess there's like differentiation of feelings, because you initially had a feeling to create at one point, to write.
To write something. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have those, so that's its own feeling, and now you have this feeling, in the process of you accepting that personal event, for yourself, that loss. So that's its own feeling in itself.
Yes, the word feeling is just pounding in my head now. I don't know what it means. I have something that makes me want to write. I have either some kind of oppressive emotion that makes me feel like shit, and I want to get rid of it, and that's why I write.
Okay.
I'm kind of overcome with it, and I don't know what to do with it, and I'm trying to get rid of it. When I write something, I don't feel good at the end of it. I feel empty, and that's what I want.
A release.
Yeah, I want to not feel.
Okay.
And when I perform things, if you can call it that, because I literally just pull out my phone and look up Facebook and read what I said.
That's what Drake does.
Have you thought of memorizing these? Have you?
I've thought about it, but it just Honestly, when I get on stage to ever do something, it's usually an afterthought. Like I find out about it, I debate for a really long time whether or not I'm actually going to do it because I'm kind of a pussy with it. Like I get in front of people all the time and talk. Like working, I do that every friggin' day as a substitute teacher. Like I get in front of people that probably hate me just for like the principle of hating me. And
some of the meanest people on earth, high school kids.
Yeah,
suck.
that doesn't bother me at all. I'll stand in front of kids all fucking day. But when it comes to me actually sharing something that I've written, I get really like insecure about it. I feel really overly vulnerable and sick to my stomach. I get really nauseous before doing things like that, and I drink a lot to like deal with it.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
and so I've thought about what like memorizing would make me look way more professional, but it's safer for me to just look at my phone so I don't have to look at people's faces. Because I don't like seeing people's reactions. Actually, that's probably something I do actually, I'm doing it right now. I'm not looking at anybody.
Isn't that also kind of like the point to art is for everyone to interpret it or the reception to be different depending on the person? I mean, don't you think you'd be failing not just the purpose but yourself if everyone felt the same way about the thing that you wrote?
That's assuming that he considers his creations art.
True.
I think I do.
Because obviously Jordan doesn't.
No, I
Obviously he's like, look, if he wants to call those pieces of shit trash.
But me personally.
That's actually a really old debate in literature is what
I
matters.
said trash instead of art, sorry. That's why that was bugging the shit out of me. Yeah, no, I caught it and then like I was like, should I say something? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna make a fucking idiot. I'm gonna say something. Proceed.
All right.
The demons are out of my head now.
It's a really old debate in literature whether it matters more what the author meant or what the audience got. Authorial intent versus audience interpretation. Which one matters more? And it goes back and forth a lot.
No, what I mean is for you. At the end of the day, if I wrote something and I wrote it for me, or if I do something and I do it for me, I really don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that.
Or which one weighs more is what I'm saying. When you do it, do you think you would feel better if everyone was extremely and highly accepting of what you did?
I'm usually on the other end of that. Most of the people, I don't think people understand what I'm saying. I've changed my style over time, not really by choice, maybe so much as just kind of naturally. I used to write in a very flowery, maybe. I don't know. It was very obscure. It was hard to understand. It wasn't very direct, and it was very metaphorical. And now I've gone to the opposite end of that, and I say things in a very direct way a lot of the time. And I may mix in some things that are a little bit more metaphorical, but my style has changed to become clear to people hearing it. So I know I clearly care about what they get from it. I care what they think of it. I want them to connect with it and get something out of it.
So does that mean that you're associating them liking it? I guess use the word like as they're understanding it, or is it that you kind of want? Are you trying to deny that they understand it, just don't like it?
No one's ever come up to me after they've read something I've done. If I've read it out loud or
Bullshit.
That girl totally
let me finish what I was going to say.
She said you have the biggest balls she's ever seen.
No one's come up to me and said something specific about the content. No one's ever said, hey, did this part mean this? Or I really liked this idea here. Or I hated this. Or I disagreed with you. They always just say, good job. Or, you have the biggest balls I've ever seen. No, I don't get that one very often. But
but you got it once.
She's like, you had balls to do what you had to do by going up there and pretty much...
But that's exactly what I mean. It's like I could have literally gone up there and said like the ingredients of a cereal box, and she's just like, "You got balls saying that in front of people."
No, she probably wouldn't have. Like she would if you would have just gone up there and recited fucking cereal.
If she didn't know what it was, is what I mean.
Because they were really one of the only tables in there paying a large amount of attention to you.
They did. I think it was like me, Brian, and that table. And not to discredit you or say like you suck.
Jordan too.
No, all right, it was our table, of course. Our table, that's the only reason I got a good response, and then it was outside of that. But what I'm saying is, I know for a fact from watching you and listening. I don't know what the fuck we're talking. Anyway, Those broads are into it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, just quick.
I don't know what we're talking about this.
Daniel, who is your favorite poet?
My favorite poet? See, I don't read a lot of poetry. I actually usually hate people's poetry.
What is what is your favorite piece of writing that you can recently recall reading?
My favorite piece of writing?
Yes.
Can I tell you mine?
It was,
That came off like creepy. Can I tell you mine?
you can tell us yours first, please.
It's just don't go gentle into that good night.
Oh, that thing, yeah. I misquote who wrote that all the time. I always want to say it's Rudyard Kipling, but he wrote the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rudyard. Bill
Build a
His name
brand.
is
Bilderberg.
pronounced Rudyard? I thought it was really hard. I'm kidding.
Rudyard?
It's
Rudyard? I thought
I
it was
don't know, it's a
Rudyard
Rudy
Kipling.
hard word to say, isn't it?
Fucking Bill Nomesen.
Bill Nomesen. That's the best.
It was Noam Chomsky.
Bill Nomesen.
Nomes McKenzie.
Buds McKenzie wrote that.
My favorite professional thing that I've read in a while is this book called Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I'm still in the process of reading it. I've been reading it for like a year because I'm just really slow at reading.
Do you read? Have you ever read anything in your life more than once?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I've read Beowulf 4 times, not by choice. Not by choice. I've
Have you
just
ever-
had to. I've had classes that ask me to read the stupid thing again and again and again.
Have you really willingly read anything in your life more than once for the sake of enjoyment?
like a book? No, I've read poems more than once.
Yeah. So you have? Do they change meaning?
Yeah,
Each time that
I
you
come
read?
back to things and I just think totally differently. Actually, it's one of the kind of a guilt I have is that I read so many things that were considered really good back when I was younger and had this totally different mindset. And now I go back and I read things and I feel like I've never read it the right way before.
Do you? I'm sure that you've considered this because I know that you're not an idiot at all. So I do feel stupid for asking you. But just going back to you saying that you've never once had anyone come up to you immediately after your performance and comment on the content.
Yeah. Not that I remember, but I
Yeah.
tend to hate myself so much I might block out anything that might be good.
I mean, I'm sure you have, but I guess just for the sake of my own conscience. I mean, have you considered this because that they're not able to digest, just they're not able to digest what you're saying just because it comes from such a place of development and just emotion that there's just too much to just take in immediately, that it would require multiple sessions of really analyzing it in the same way that you have college, like you said, you've read Beowulf 4 times.
And I guess I
What
want
if,
something
like-
different out of it, but
What if in the millennial future, like just in the far ass future, like when we're all aliens, because that's gonna happen, like we ascend to a higher plane and become space robots. What if they're all reading a Fish Palsy Productions?
I don't know.
I don't know how into jazz you are, but that's one thing that I've realized about my appreciation for traditional jazz, and especially like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, is that especially John Coltrane, he is ridiculous. He wasn't during his time when he was alive and making music, like he wasn't taken seriously. It wasn't until like 15 years after his death that people were like, "Hey, Coltrane, he was doing something." So it takes
Time
things
for people to get it.
to sink in. Have you
I
ever
don't-
considered that? Or
I have. Well, I haven't considered it from that's like a hopeful way of thinking about it. I just think I suck. So that's what I meant. Like my style changed. I thought it was too obscure, wasn't direct enough. I thought people couldn't get it when I read it out loud.
Yeah.
So I decided. All of those sounded like farts to me. All of those.
I'm sorry.
So I started to write things in a more direct way because I thought people weren't getting it, and I want them to get it. And they can tell me it sucks. I wouldn't care.
You
All
just want a reaction at all?
I want to feel like people are actually reading it or hearing it and
Yeah.
understanding it.
I do have that frustration on my own, just from the attempts at creation that I have ever given. It really is difficult accepting, or at least considering, that you're not being taken seriously. I think I've touched on this before already in any of the previous episodes, but would you consider that? I mean, I guess that's essentially what you were saying, that the feeling of not being taken seriously holding back. I'm sorry. We were using headphones during this recording, and I made the mistake of putting headphones on, so I'm hearing my voice for the first time, and it's throwing me off. So I'm going to take these off now and hand it back to Brian.
I think they call that the mirror stage in psychology.
Mirror? The
It's when,
The
you
Bill
jerk,
Gnomes.
it's when you jerk off in front of a mirror.
For the
Everyone
first time,
knows that.
While quoting Taxi Driver.
Yeah, I fucking love the I don't want to cut you off. Just kind of wanted to get back to Omar.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like we've been sucking our own dicks for a little
I'm
bit.
sorry about that.
And that's all good and shit. But we have Omar here for one night. We're here monthly.
So, like, I guess one quick last question or something? Or?
Yeah, is there anything that you wanted? I know you don't really know that much about the show. I know I sent you the last episode. And
Do you have questions for us?
Yeah, do you have questions for us or critiques? Do you want us to stop? Would you
Like
tell
just
us
living?
not to suck that much dick? Like, if we could be
It's out of
better,
existence.
I don't know. We can't.
No, I think this is all pretty cool. I mean, I've had conversations like this without the use of a microphone with
Yeah, we've had-
most people sitting here already. So I don't have much critique for you guys in that regard.
Is there anything that you wanted to bring up or talk about or plug or something?
Yeah, yes, actually there is. Just even in recent days, and people, they know Omar, oh, he's really spiritual, he's really religious, and all that good stuff. Just this idea that popped into my head, and it's not going away, and it makes it, in my opinion, if someone really pondered, really thought on this question, it might do a lot for anyone who's religious in regards to the cosmic criteria of God and servant or deity or whomever. And the question is, can your God create something? Can he or she or it create a stone so heavy that not even he or she can lift it? And I never really thought on that.
There's a Simpsons. I don't want to like downgrade your question. There's a Simpsons episode where Otto is high. He's like, "Is there a?" He's like, "Can God create or heat up a burrito so hot that he couldn't even eat it?" Not to like. I know I just like shat on your fucking question and like took out all fucking cool integrity, but I wanted that to be known that. The Simpsons did it. The Simpsons did it. Yeah, they did it first. Everyone knows that.
They've done everything.
They've done it, yes.
Jesus, that is the coolest thing in the fucking world.
It killed Jordan. He is literally dead.
Did you ever think about that when you were a kid, though? When I was in church growing up, they used to say that God...
The Simpsons still got it.
But yeah, you know what? Anyone that was an old episode.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
No, they used to say that God hates sin and God can't sin and he can't love sin. So it's like all of that like confused me because it was just like God's all powerful. How could he not do something? Is he choosing not to? No, they would tell me that he literally can't.
Then he's not capable of all things.
Then he's not all powerful, right?
You know, the weirdest thing to me, and I picked up on this as a child, and it's one of the few things that I sucked my dick over as being like smart enough to catch as a child, was that like even as a young child, like when they were like, if you don't do this, you're going to fucking hell. Well, they wouldn't say fucking, but you know. They were like, you don't know. They weren't that mean to me. They're just like, I wasn't getting molested, so there wasn't no need for that type of language.
You talk about this, you're going fucking hell.
But whose phone was that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna whoop their.
That was me trying to censor you.
Somebody was backing up.
I thought there was a phone. I was about to get. I'm really serious about phones, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm just a monster. Psych, bitch! I just have anger issues and weird ways to put out my anger. What's I talking? Oh, hell. Yeah. No, as a child, one of the weirdest things to me was that they're like, God loves you, but if you fuck up, you're going to hell. And I was like, whoa, hold on. a minute ago he fucking loved me, and he was like, it's unconditional love, and like all this bullshit, and they're just like, yeah, but if you're gay, you're going to hell. I'm sorry, man. Like you fucked up. But you're like, no, but I really like God. God's cool shit.
How come he doesn't like me?
Yeah, it's just like, God doesn't like gay people. And you're like, that seems weird. Because he made gay people. Is it like a weird thing where he was like, that was my early work. I hate that shit. It's like a big band that sold out. Like Green Day doesn't play like the Kerplunk. They don't play anything from Kerplunk. They're just like, fuck that, we weren't artists back then. But they'll play like whatever bullshit they just put out.
I guess what I would have to say to something like that is what you'll encounter, and anyone will continue to encounter problems such as this in any faith, because by definition alone, we're trying to conceive and perceive something that is inconceivable. It's perfect, and our minds, in my opinion, we can't really wrap our minds around those parameters of perfection.
That's true.
So based on our limited intelligence compared to something that's unlimited, that this is the best way that we're going to paint a picture of this perfect being. Because to us, I can say I don't like, I really think Jordan's cool, but when he starts eating fucking vanilla ice cream, he's not coming in my house with that shit. You know what I mean?
He kind of sounds like a weird stepdad. That's like, no, I love you, man. You're cool. You're just as, like, if you were my own, I'd love you just the same. But then, like, he gets drunk and he's like, oh my God, get the fuck out of my house! Like, just for, like, spilling some shit. Like, he spilled your SpaghettiOs on the floor. And he was just drunk. I don't know why I had to yell you. I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm going to keep rubbing your chest.
That's what I would have to say, something like that.
It's okay.
A perfect being, and this is so powerful and omniscient, omnipotent, and all those good stuff with that Latin word in the beginning. To try to put something in a space of a few hundred or few thousand pages, even a few million pages, you're not going to do your God justice, because he or she is perfect and all that stuff, and you probably never could.
Sorry, there's a Snapchat break. Can I ask you this? Or did you have if you have a serious question, go ahead.
I held my breath really weirdly, so I exhaled, and it sounded like I was disappointed, but I just held my breath wrong, and I was right about to say something.
It sounds like a really complicated way to back out of being judgmental.
We're gonna sell this right now, Daniel. Apparently, I'm not allowed to have made time capsules when I was like 6, so screw me.
Screw what?
Continue, guys.
No, I was just gonna ask you. What do you? I have to ask your opinion on two things before we go, because it's about time that we wrap this up. Because
we gotta work in some plugs here in a second.
Yeah, we gotta work in some plugs. I'm gonna pee my pants. I might pee my pants.
Who knows?
But Bill Cosby rape all those women?
Keep it one.
No, just Omar. Nobody breathe. Nobody say anything.
I guess the way I like, if I'm not too well versed in anything, or I don't have a whole lot of knowledge to come up with an idea or to do something, I like to have the mindset that it is also both possible and not possible. So, do I believe he raped?
Would you put money on it?
I would not. I don't have enough information. Do I believe Bill Cosby raped all those women? No.
No? Oh.
No, he probably raped them.
Heard it here first, guys.
Like every one of them.
There's keyboards. He does do that old routine, and you post
Spanish Fly, man.
Spanish Fly. Where he talks.
Yeah.
There's like an old joke about like how he used Spanish Fly to fuck all these chicks, and he goes to like Spain, and they're like, "Oh, you got American Fly." That was the joke in it, and it's still pretty cool, like in context. But like to be like, in like joke structure and how it works out, it's cool. But like the context is like, oh, you've been doing this for a while, Bill. Also, I want to go on record and say that Fat Albert is one of the most racist cartoons I've ever seen.
Yes.
I think we can all agree it rules. You're right. No, you got something, Jordan?
Just
What was that noise?
Yes.
What was that?
Like a car engine starting up?
I thought it was a different ooh. All right, I don't.
Oh, it's alright. It's alright.
This is my last real question directed at Omar. It doesn't have to be the last question, just my last one that I have. Real quick. Are you familiar with the tablets of Thoth?
No.
No.
Is that
Okay.
is that like
Like with the Egyptians, like the
Okay,
god
that's
thought?
not my.
No, it's the alternative to the iPad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Windows put that
he
out.
dropped this stuff like 2 weeks ago, dog. No. I believe he was an Atlantean.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, goddamn!
Always back to that.
Always talking about Atlantis.
Omar is the only one who would take me seriously about this. That's why
Jordan
I
always
to ask.
Man, why every time we do a podcast you talking about Atlantis?
Omar, rapid fire. Solids or stripes?
Solids or stripes?
Yes.
Solids.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Ice or no ice?
Quicker.
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay, the big one. Pepsi or Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
You won.
Coca-Cola.
Last one. Atlantis or Atlanta?
Atlantis.
Oh. Trick question. They're both not real.
Plugs.
Plugs.
I have a couple. Gus and I and some other people you may know are doing this weekly thing at Bar 10 in the mall. Open mic night.
Bar 10.
It's an open mic night every Wednesday. Starts at 8. It's literally anything people want to do. You can do acoustic songs, or you can do stand up. Gus does stand up. He's hilarious.
I'm not.
He is the cunt.
I am the cunt. Is that what you are the cunt.
I think he said you have the cunt.
I have the cunt.
I was going to say that you are the Kanye West of Odessa. But then I didn't know if I should have worded that as he is the self-proclaimed.
I'm not self.
He really likes it. He writes his own dick. Do you write your own dick?
I don't.
He's never gone on public record to say that he has.
There's no public record out there of me sucking my own dick in public.
I do know. I do know, however, that Gus. We had this conversation. I think it was like a thread. It was me, Brian, Gus, and some other people, members I don't recognize. But I know Gus. If he had 3 penises,
I remember that conversation.
Would not go anywhere that he couldn't jerk off at least one. And that's principle.
They say if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, and that's why I have to go. At least, like, if I could only, open mic. Those are no words. That whole after that was just like, words will save me at some point. I'm just gonna keep falling on them.
I want to be introducing new people now, just so I can ask them, do you ride your own dick? I want to do that now. Hopefully I can keep that in mind.
Open mic night, Bar 10, every Wednesday, starts at 8. Music, stand-up. I'll be there doing spoken word, probably the only guy in the entire town that will ever do that.
Dustin will be there lip syncing.
Dustin will make me uncomfortable singing Kelly Clarkson, or lip-syncing Kelly Clarkson.
And I will do jokes about stuff that
I couldn't say your name. Shit. We're gonna go up on iTunes soon.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's in the works. We are on Geekers Network. We are on Geekers Network now. So if you want to check that out, there's a ton of other podcasts.
I'm not gonna try to be quiet at that point.
There's of course the actual Geekers podcast. There's Big Oily Men. If there's any others, I
Who the
can't
hell
think of
are
it.
you?
Who the hell are you? Hey, the one I'm on, the one I also host. Couldn't remember that one. We have a lot of different content. It's all pretty cool. So check all of those out, and ours will hopefully go up on iTunes also. We have a couple. Do you have the emails written down?
Oh yes, I do. They're all on my phone, and I don't know any of them.
Yes.
Okay, well we'll put it in the video description.
It's ishpodcast2k15@gmail.com for this one.
Yeah, so please hit us up. Just tell us we suck. I don't care.
Tell us to eat shit.
Ask us anything. Ask questions.
Oh, yeah, Brian.
We would love questions. Brian will probably answer them.
Anything.
Sound Guy Bri.
Sound Guy Brian reacts to the questions in our email.
Ooh.
You don't even answer them. You just get really mad or have some kind of strong emotional response. Yeah, so please let us know what you think of the show. Give us any questions you have. Tell us how your day is. I don't care. Anything. I need human contact, even if it's through a computer. Anything else you guys have? Any plugs or anything?
I think Gus left already, so.
You know what? No, I have one last thing. I have one really important thing.
Before I plug, yes.
Jordan,
Daniel.
I finally listened.
Oh, yes! Yes! Hold on. Oh, okay, no, this is you and me.
I
Okay,
finally
do this.
listened to The Sixth Golden Ticket by The Saddest Landscape.
Okay. And did you listen to it paired with following along with lyrics?
I could not because I was literally doing it in my car before I walked in. So I listened to it and then I read the lyrics. If that counts.
Okay, that's good
it's
enough.
It's fairly close proximity.
All right.
Yeah, so that happened. Okay, end of the show, guys.
Oh!
End of the show!
Wait. Oh.
Come back next time where Jordan actually gets to ask me a question about how I responded to it.
Do we have any idea who's going to be on the show next week? Or next month?
Anthony Vandenberg.
Yeah, Anthony.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, awesome.
Are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I want to plug succulents. That's it.
Like the idea?
Yeah.
Like really juicy fruit? Is that a record scratch?
It's a dog toy.
That was a dog toy?
It's a baby toy. It's a baby toy.
Okay. Any other
That
plugs?
was a record scratch.
Okay, thank you.
I want to plug. I don't know. Nothing. I got nothing.
Okay.
I'm really happy with the way this played out.
Thank you, Omar.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Omar.
much.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you for having me.
I think much like life, this had a shaky start, but we've made it work somehow.
I really
Yeah,
like
well,
this.
But with good editing, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, we're gonna edit all the shit out that involves me.
Ow.
But thank you. very
Bill
much for having me.
Yeah.
I'm glad we all learned about Bill Chomsman's and all these other poets.
Mm-hmm.
Big thank you to Gus Pondo, Fish, Jordan, and
And our live studio audience.
He's
Yeah, we had an audience this time. This is another weird thing.
you'll never. I don't know if you'll introduce yourselves at all ever. All this is gonna be edited the fuck out, hopefully. So.
I thought you were passively implying that we didn't introduce you, or
No.
That's what he was
already
saying.
said. I'm
Yeah,
behind the sound guy.
Sound Guy Bri.
Actually, we normally do introduce ourselves, so we didn't this time, did we?
I was gonna say like y'all.
I
did
don't
do
think
that.
I ever introduced one. Anyway, this is shit we could talk about off the air. Not on recording. But
Anyway, hit us up. Thanks for listening.
I hope you're sad.
but not really,
No, he means it.
but not really.
Jordan's the only one that thinks you're not sad.